faint sounds of subway trains, city ambience, a lighter flicks, someone beatboxing in the distance.
Hey yo, gather round, let me put y'all on. See, the game ain't just about paper, it's about legacy. You stacking bills or building empires. You reading signs or stuck reading headlines. It's time to elevate, knowledge reborn. Feel me? Shout out to Shy Bliss, Mama T. Hey yo, I came from the dirt where the lost ones lurk. Now I channel Sirius when I put in this work. From the street lights to the starlight, knowledge divine. Got the whole zodiac mapped out my mind. 777s when I shuffle, every move is a line. Had to break free, cut the chains on my mind. You see they trap us in illusions, keep the wisdom diluted. But I'm building like the Moors did, all black suited. Running numbers like Pythagoras, adding up digits. Turn a cipher to a temple, got the ancestors with us. This that Pharaoh flow, deep like the metronome. Boom, bap, quantum math, every bar set in stone. We was born in the fire, raised in a storm. But the knowledge stays sacred, the wisdom stays strong. Turn the pain into gold, let the lessons live on. We the lost now found, it's the knowledge reborn. We was born in the fire, raised in a storm. But the knowledge stays sacred, the wisdom stays strong. Turn the pain into gold, let the lessons live on. We the lost now found, it's the knowledge reborn.
All right. It's show time. Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Welcome to the Stella Maris Podcast. I am your host, Shy Bliss, a.k.a. Mama T. How's everybody doing out there today? How you doing? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Because, you know, I get to rambling and get to talking and carrying on and can't nobody hear a thing. Put a 1 in the chat. Can you put a 1 in the chat? Put a 1 in the chat if you can. All right, all ones. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome. I see y'all. Shout out to the day ones. Shout out to everyone who has been with me from the beginning. This one here, tonight, as they say, another banger. This is going to be another banger, honey. Another one for the books. We got a powerhouse. Powerful, extraordinary sister that is tearing up TikTok. Right now, she's on the Stella Maris Podcast. Sister Diva Lyri Dey with her powerful book, Tapping Into Your Supernatural Powers. Y'all need to go ahead and grab your tea because this one is coming in piping hot. I got to pay a few bills. I'm going to play a couple of commercials. Go grab your tea. Go grab your cousins and them, your auntie and them, your friends and them, because this one here, y'all, is one for the books.
Peace and positive vibrations. Ever wonder why the ancient Egyptians called blue lotus the flower of awareness? It's more than beautiful, baby. It's bioactive. Blue lotus contains natural alkaloids like apophine that interact with dopamine receptors, helping the mind unwind while enhancing focus and mood. Then there's mango green tea, rich in catechins and polyphenols that support circulation, metabolism, and gentle energy without the crash. It wakes the body up while keeping the nervous system calm. And hibiscus flower, that deep crimson bloom known across Africa and the Caribbean for supporting the heart and cooling inflammation, is packed with vitamin C and anthocyanins that protect your cells from oxidative stress. Together, they create Blue Lotus Magic Blend, a soothing, uplifting experience that connects ancient wisdom with modern wellness. Try it for yourself. Click the link below or the link in my bio and bring a little magic to your cup.
JRC Body Butter not only look and feel like luxury, but it melts into your skin like butter, baby, leaving your skin looking radiant and hydrated all day. What's great about our product is that it's free of all parabens and phthalates, made with all natural ingredients such as shea and mango butter, as well as a host of other hydrating oils and natural essential oils. Get you one today. Link in bio. Bye-bye.
Sure you support that sister Love Goddess with her body oils and body butters, and she got beard oil for the brothers. Listen, I use her products, phenomenal products, great products. So right now, I'm about to bring to the stage the one and only, the only one, Sister Diva Lyri. Welcome, sister. How you doing today?
Thank you. So glad to be here, Mama T. Thank you
Yeah,
for having
honey.
me. Really honored. I really am honored and excited to be here and share this information. Now you got the book.
Yeah, got the book. Listen,
So
before we hop right into there, tell people about yourself. Tell them who you are, what you
okay,
do, where you're
okay,
from, what you about, because they may have never heard of you before.
okay. Well, I'm Diva Lyri. I own a nation. You all do too. You just don't know it. But the nation is called United Nations from America, and we are a nation of nations. And what we help people do is find their social freedom, financial freedom, and most importantly, their spiritual freedom. And we do that by bringing the facts and only the facts. Okay, so I don't like to deal with my opinions. We've been dealing with that for so long. I put the information out there so that everybody can go and research it for themselves. And then we want to just deal in what the facts are and who we are, the biggest one, who we are as beings, as spiritual beings. So that's why did I need to go deeper?
As deep as you like to go. I mean,
You
deep as you like to go. You be lighting it up. Look, I already said, I said, you know what? I'm just going to sit back on this one and let you take the wheel because I know you are packed with information. You have a lot of knowledge. You're a scientist, you know the law, you know how to apply it on a metaphysical level, on a biological level, on a cellular level. Like it's like, what don't you know how to do as an Aquarius woman? I guess you know how to do it all.
I do a
Pretty
little
much.
something,
You know how
but
to
I
do it all. But the topic of discussion today, this book, Tapping into Your Supernatural Powers. Before we dive in, what made you write this book, sister?
thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. So I had people to ask me so many times, how do you give birth without a man? And I've talked about how women have powers that have been hidden from them. So this book, the question actually spawned this book. And in here, I put a lot of information detailing who we are as spiritual entities. What is a male and a female? What is an X and a Y chromosome? And we go deep into it. Also, in this book, one of the great things that we do have an audio. You'll see that there are QR codes when you click on the QR codes or scan the QR codes. It's going to take you to the audio version of this book as well. But it's got great images in here to explain things. This is a mighty mitochondria right here. So we go really deep into the molecular side, understanding who you are. So then this is not just me saying it. When we're talking about periods and what periods are, we're talking about what sex is. What is it to bring an actual being into this dimension? What are you really doing? These things that we haven't been told, and we've been made to think, oh, well, this is great and this is wonderful and this is fantastic, but you don't understand the spiritual ramifications of the actions that you're doing in this third dimension. So that's what the book is about.
Ooh. Well, let's begin. Break down to us, for those who don't know, what exactly is the mitochondrial DNA? Because we hear a lot of different definitions about what it is and how it is, and everyone has one. Because like we'll say, oh, this is like the cell that creates it all. This is the nucleus within the nucleus, right? And then you'll hear other people make the argument, well, everyone has mitochondrial DNA, not just you. So what makes it so special for you? I want you
Okay.
to break down exactly what this is.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So we're talking about the mitochondria, and what I want to do, because, we have people who have their religious beliefs or what have you, and I have to make sure that I say this in a way that I don't offend them. But the mitochondria, let's talk about what she does, first of all. When it comes to energy, whether you batting your eyelashes or you're moving your hands, all of this, anything in this dimension it moves, it gets energy from the mitochondria. It's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So the thunder don't clap and the lightning don't strike without the mitochondria. All right, so she produces all of the energy of this dimension. Also, when it comes to producing ATP or adenosine triphosphate, all of the water, she produces rather all of the water that you're getting. So this is things, you can't live without water for what, longer than a week? You go longer than
3 days, honey. I think that 72 hours.
Right. So she's producing all of the water that's coming from her byproduct. So really, water is just like mitochondrial poo. It's byproduct of what she's been doing. She does to create life on the planet. Thirdly, let's understand that everything that you see, feel, touch comes through her womb. All of the elements, your skin, your wood, plastic, that's coming through her womb. So when we're talking about the mitochondria, then we go deeper into it. And when I start talking about Mother Nature, that's mitochondria. This is why a cat and a dog can't sleep together naturally and create a being. A donkey and a lion can't sleep together and create a being, because the mitochondria, Mother Nature, is right there regulating what comes into this dimension. But we go into it because the mitochondria has been tampered with. Listen, let me say this.
I'm following along, as you say, because I was just about to ask you that. Go ahead.
I will say this, I'm gonna wrap it up, but one of the things that I have to say is when we're talking about the mitochondria, this is the being that creates all of the energy you need in order to motor. And this is the being that regulates what comes into this dimension. She creates water, and everything you see, feel, and touch, it comes through her womb. This is her dimension. So I'm here to offend some people. I love you.
Listen, this is your point of view. This show is for you to express your point of view. Don't worry about what other people feel. They know this is the Stella Maris podcast.
All right. I don't know anything you can say that God does. I don't know that the mitochondria, you can't say about the mitochondria.
One and the same.
I'm just saying, anything you say about God, you can apply it, yes, to the mitochondria. Okay.
I want to read something out, Joe.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's right there where you were, right? So you were breaking down about how everything on the planet revolves around the mitochondria, right? She is not just the powerhouse of the cell. She is the gatekeeper of creation, the regulator of reality, the architect of what enters into this dimension, as you said. But here, this is where it gets juicy. You said something happened. Something found a way to tamper with her, to subdue her, to put her into a coma. And because she is the one who sustains us, governs us, fuels us, we fell into a coma too. Come on now, take it. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's get the theory, right? Because some people say no one knows what happens, and then you get all of these different theories about, well, we're not from here, this isn't our home, and blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. But I kind of agree with what you're saying. Something happened. What do you think that was?
All right, so as is within, so is without.
Yes, ma'am.
As is above, so is below. These are very real aspects of the universal law. So you hear people saying, well, you don't know what happened. What is that saying? Help me out, Mama T, when they say there's nothing new
under the sun.
What goes around,
come around.
Those are laws.
All
right. And so when you understand how the universe works and how she speaks, then you will be clear about what happened in the past. Very clear. So getting back to your question, what happened? Okay,
what the hell happened? Please, I would like to know your theory on that.
All right, so listen, we got to understand that the mitochondria goes into a coma. We talk about, because I need you said a couple of things that were key. You said, some people say we from another planet, and then some people say we from here. We are made up of many different spiritual entities. many different spiritual entities. Now, when we're talking about the original beings on this planet, we talk about the mitochondria and the bacteria, all right? Then when you start talking about cells and nuclear DNA, well, you're talking about another being. This is why when you start looking at the X and the Y chromosome, there's the statement about there are elements in those chromosomes that are not native to this planet, okay? So, yeah, again, two different beings came together to make up your vessel. Now, watch this now.
I'm listening.
So I don't want to go too deep. I want
No
you to guide me.
deep. Come on, stop. No hold barred.
Okay, I need you to guide me because if I start, if I go,
I like it. That's why you here.
okay, all right. 'Cause, so I need you to understand that again. This is why when I say you are a nation, and people have heard me say you are a nation all by yourself, because we deal in law as well. So helping people gain their social freedom as far as out here, and they want to say, well, I want a nation. How many people do I have to have a nation? You are a nation all by yourself. You're made up of many different spiritual entities. Now, with that being said, what you also have to understand is different entities came together to create your vessel. I need to go back to the mitochondrial DNA, and then there's the nuclear DNA. And some people see now. This is why I told you. This is why I had that visual aids. If I need to show visual aids,
yeah. If you need to, let me know. If you need me to share the screen.
No, let me know. Talk to me. So there's the nuclear DNA, and then there's the mitochondrial DNA. Let me explain how important the mitochondrial DNA is. Okay, that's one of the original beings on this planet, the mitochondria, and she is a bacteria. Now she has lost some of her her properties or what have you, but she's the bacteria that gives energy to everything on this planet. And she has a DNA. All mitochondria communicates through different species. So it doesn't matter whether it's a cat or a dog and a human. If you intact with your mitochondria, you can communicate. This is why you ever hear people saying, oh, the dog can sense when you're scared.
Yeah.
Or, these beings can sense that's because there's mitochondria there, and it doesn't matter whether it's in a dog or a cat or any other being, it can communicate. Now, the other thing about the mitochondria is that, it's always the mother's mitochondria, right?
Okay.
In every being, whether it's male or female, it's always the mother's mitochondria. That's why there's always a link between the mother and her child. When something happens or her child cries out or her child gets hurt or something like that, the mother feels it automatically, regardless of where she is. That child can be on another planet and the mother's going to feel it and sense it because of the mitochondrial connection. So I want to just explain that. That's the mitochondrial connection. That's that powerhouse that we talked about that moves everything on this planet. Now, you've got another DNA, and I need us to understand that DNA is a contract. So inside of your body, you got two different contracts. You got a mitochondrial DNA contract, and then you got a nuclear DNA contract. That's the X and the Y that makes up this vessel.
So when you say contract, you mean agreement?
Thank you. Agreement. Where's my dollar? If I had a dollar bill in front of me, it's a contract. You are a walking set of laws. So when you create a contract, thank you. Tell me if I'm veering off. But when you create an agreement, when you have an agreement, you have two different people signing it, and that's what makes money. That's what makes a contract. So understand this. With money, you look at your dollar bill or $5, $10, $20, there's going to be two signatures and two seals. Two signatures and two seals, that's what makes money. That's the same thing's going on in your vessel. You got two signatures and two seals. One is the mitochondrial DNA signature, and then there's the nuclear DNA signature. Where that nuclear DNA signature come from, that's your alien.
Okay, so now pause. Right there. Because I was going to ask you, right? Because I'm trying to keep up. Now, the mitochondrial DNA, we can say that that's the original cell, bacterial cell, right? Like the primordial cell of all.
That's source. That's who's talking to you.
And this is a single cell organism, correct?
Yeah, she doesn't need light, water, food.
Okay, got that. But something happened. I'm swinging it on back. When you turn it back, something happened to create a multicellular, what we call it, a multicellular organism. And then from what you're saying, that the nucleus, this is AKA alien. Elaborate on that a little bit more for me.
All right. So when you do any research on the mitochondria, what they'll tell you is that the mitochondria was engulfed by a cell. Now, the original cell would be that plant cell. All right. And then this is where the beginning of creating multifaceted organisms came from, where the mitochondria gets engulfed by a cell. Now, when she was engulfed by this cell, the cell tried to digest the mitochondria, but the mitochondria was too strong. Her outside was too strong, and she was able to deal with any kind of acids coming from the cell. But what happened was the cell got energy from her. So now they call it a symbiotic relationship. Okay, whereby she's now producing all of this energy that the cell needs to survive. All right, but at the same time, she gets engulfed in this cell. So they gotta,
So is it possible, right?
Yeah.
If she was a single cell, now she's a multi-cell or multi-dimensional because of an alien cell. But if she was the original cell, where did that other cell come from? Is it a division of herself? Did she split herself? Or how did something exist outside of her if she is the original cell?
Foreign. That's what an alien came from. So you had your plants first, then you had you start having your fish and your reptiles, mammals, and then humans are the newest beings outside of
like
the
evolution.
one. Yeah, outside. I wouldn't say it's evolution is being planted here by other beings.
Oh.
Yeah, it's being brought here.
So if she's the first being, and then these other, but where them other beings come from? If they didn't come from her, they're foreign, so they have their own origins.
Yeah. So now we're getting into other solar systems, if you will. As is above, so below. As is within, so is without. Okay, because we started to get a little deep, and I want you to, like I said, reel me back in to make sure I make everything that I'm saying clear. All right.
Oh, we good. Okay. Because one thing leads to another, right? And I don't have any answers. I just got 1,000 questions. When I hear certain things, I just kind of follow along in what makes sense in my head. Like, how does this happen if this is the mitochondrial single cell, and then now from what you're saying, a foreign body came in, I guess like a parasite or hosted with her, or merged with her. So I'm thinking, well, if she is the original and this didn't come from her, then maybe she's not the original. All right. And then I understand what you're saying about, well, there's other systems.
Yes.
So the mitochondrial only comes from a certain realm. Maybe.
Okay, that's a great question. But let me say this. You got to also understand who she uses in order to produce all of this energy. She's using the hydrogen atom. Hold on. Okay, see, I can't.
Go ahead.
I want you to. Hold on.
If it's up there, tell me when you want me to put it up. Class is session, y'all. So get your books and everything.
I don't want, but I will go as deep as you want to go. I just want to make sure that everything that I'm saying is clear, so that everybody has an understanding of where we are. Okay, so I want to show you
because this is going to lead into chapter 3. I just want you to know.
Okay, I want you to tell me something because I want to show you this, and I want you to give me your understanding of what you see when you see this. Okay. Um, 1 second. So she uses the hydrogen atom in order to produce all of the energy in the ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, that runs everything on the planet. So put this on the screen, and I want you to tell me what you see.
All right, let's put this up here for you. Well, it looks like it's a planet rotating around a green sun.
Okay. That's a hydrogen atom. And the reason why I show this is because I need you to understand this is a planet. This is the most fundamental unit that people know of, but this is what the mitochondria uses in order to produce energy. She uses, I can't tell you the number, it's more than hundreds of thousands, when she's producing adenosine triphosphate for everything on the planet. But it's coming from the hydrogen, which is a planet itself. So then the mitochondria becomes a planet for the hydrogen. And then the cell becomes a planet for the mitochondria. And
so
then
what's in the center? What is this in the center? Is that, or just this one component?
That's a planet inside there.
Inside the hydrogen.
And I'm telling you what I see and what you see. As is above, so is without, below. So what you're looking at this is a planet, but they can't get down into the smallest and see what's going on inside of this planet like they can the mitochondria, like they can your cell. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm telling you,
it can only rotate around. So what is rotating around it?
That is what they call an electron.
Okay.
Okay. But you got to understand, it's very much alive. It's a hydrogen atom. It's very much alive. And then the mitochondria uses it to produce energy. So my point that I'm making here is when you're talking about other planets, this is a planet. Every hydrogen is its own planet.
Gotcha.
Every mitochondria is her own planet. Every body standing, every vessel is its own planet. You are a planet. You are a nation. You follow what I'm saying?
So we're reflections of the universe, right? What you see in the universe is macroisms. What you see down here with us are microisms, correct?
Right.
Okay, got you. So what we're seeing, what this illustration is showing, is hydrogen, and what you're saying is the mitochondria fuses with it to create energy or create whatever it is she needs to produce.
No, she don't fuse. She uses it.
Oh, how does she use it?
Oh, you want to go that deep? Okay. She has this deal called adenosine triphosphate. Okay. Let me rephrase that. ATP synthase is what I was trying to say, but ATP synthase is what she uses the hydrogen in order to create all of the ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. All right. And what she does is not that she fuses, she uses it, like enslaves it. Hold on. I'm going to show you. She enslaves it. And I don't use that term lightly. That's why she got engulfed. Because of what she does to the hydrogen. Here we go. Hold on. Since we're going this deep, I love it.
All right.
All right. Can you see this? I'll make it larger.
Can you make it bigger? Yeah, make it larger.
Talk to me.
Make it larger if you can.
Okay.
Increase it. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Okay.
Now tell us what we're looking at here.
This is inside of the mitochondria. All right. So she has this outer membrane, as I told you, is so powerful that it doesn't matter all of these acids or whatever, she can't be digested. But she's got cristae, and along these cristae, she's got factories. And these are the factories, these little colorful items here. Now, she makes these cristae within her so that she can have more surface area to produce more of these ATP factories. This is what I call the money-making factories, all right? So this is where everything is produced. Now, inside of this one right here, this larger one, this is where the hydrogen atoms come in. And if you talk about pearly gates and all that other stuff, she got pearly gates right there. That those hydrogen atoms go into, and they're spinning those gates, and they're creating ATP for the cell and everything in this dimension. But it starts with the hydrogen, and she's using them. So what I'm saying to you is, the same way she engulfs or enslaves the hydrogen atom, she gets engulfed by the cell. The cell gets engulfed by the body. All right, now watch this. As is above, so is below. The humans get engulfed by the planet and the government. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying, but let me know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like a domino effect.
Yes.
What you do on to me, what you do on to others, get done on to you. So you said she enslaves the hydrogen. The hydrogen wasn't used for her to utilize, or it was just there just to float around. She wasn't supposed to use it.
Okay.
Or how help me understand how this turns from creation to enslavement.
Okay, so you know the saying, if you want to create something, you got to tear something down. All right, or if you want to build something, you have to break other things down in order to build another thing. That's kind of how it is, but it's all perpetual, because my point of going into this when I deal with my students is that you got to understand it doesn't just start here on the third dimension. There's other things that took place on a deeper dimension. All right. And then when we're talking about going into your cells, when we're talking about as is within, so is without, this is why I show this, because you got to clean up what's going on within you first, and then everything outside of you will clean up as well. So when I talk about the mitochondria and what she does with the hydrogen, she actually engulfs it, she enslaves it and puts it to work so that she can create adenosine triphosphate. And what happens is, whenever she wants to create more adenosine triphosphate, she gets some kind of pyruvate, or there's another one, ADHD, that she gets that comes in. And what she does is she rips off one of the hydrogen atoms and she kicks it out into this area, this what we call the intermembrane area. She kicks all the hydrogen out here, and she forces them back in. Now, if I'm going too deep, like I said, let me know. But she forces them, if they want to because the hydrogen love being within her matrix. This is the womb right here, what you're looking at, the matrix.
Okay.
Talk to me.
So I'm listening to the terminology that you're using, right?
Okay.
And I mean, it just seems like a process to me, but it's like you kick them out, you bring them back in, you prick them out. But this is a part of a process. If it loves being in there, it needs to be part of the process. So it's like some kind of filtration that's going on. If you utilizing it in this component through, and then you have to come back in here, and it seems like a process, some kind of filtration process. But from what you're saying, it seems violent and it seems horrible.
What you just said, didn't you just say life and death?
I said process. No, it seems like a process, right? I mean, is it so the hydrogen is dying and then it's being reborn again through this process?
In some of hers, she is not dying. She ripped it out and kicked it out and forced it back into this area so that it can come back in and create more adenosine.
How did you come up with this? How did you come up with this, sister? Like, tell me, how did you when you studied this, what did you witness when you saw this?
Laws, universal laws. My whole thing is, how does the universal law apply to everything else within us? Does it apply to everything else within us? And the more I keep looking, the more I keep recognizing it applies to everything on the molecular level, on a macroscopic level. It doesn't matter. On a three-dimensional level, it applies to everything. And when I look at her and I see she gets engulfed and somebody's trying to digest her, and you know what else she does? She loses she loses more than half of her true ability because she took sanctuary inside of the cell. See, okay. Watch this now. Now, see, I'm going to go deep. All right. So I keep talking about as is above, so is below. See, when she decided she was going to go into the cell and take refuge, or, okay, I'm going to be in here, but I'm going to give you all of this ATP, but I want protection. What does she want protection from? Oxygen. She doesn't really care for oxygen. Oxygen burns her. That's another story. I want to go into that. I just want to keep it on this. All right. But she took protection for whatever reason she felt protection from the cell. All right. And when you do that, you're going to lose part of your knowledge of self, because now instead of standing on your own, which is what she used to do, where she didn't need energy, light, water, and all that, now she's taking protection from another being. So this is why she's lost a lot of her abilities. The same thing goes with the woman. So now we're getting ready to go back into tapping into your supernatural powers. You can take that off the screen now.
Okay.
Because I want to go into this. Speaking about the mitochondria and how it is a reflection of what's going on in this third dimension. So again, she took refuge and she lost a lot of her knowledge and power. And it's the same thing that has happened with the woman. She doesn't recognize that she has been conquered. And in being in a conquered state, when you don't use a muscle, you lose that muscle. And so she doesn't know that she has powers and the ability to do certain things, which is why this book was spawned. How do we give birth without a male? These are powers that you have and still have access to today. But until you have knowledge of self, you can't tap into them. The same thing is with the mitochondria, because she allowed herself to go into contract with an entity and she has been tampered with. She's lost a lot of her power. Same thing with the
woman. Let's get to that contract. Let's start there. Let's start with the contract. Because this is where she lost power. She made an agreement with something that maybe she shouldn't have. Was this a willful agreement? Was this something willfully done, or was this forced? Since she's forcing hydrogen, was this other thing forced upon her?
Thank you. It was what they call a symbiotic. So just like the hydrogen could just say, we quit. We're not gonna keep turning your little wheel, mitochondria, and we're not gonna keep helping you produce ATP. They could quit. Just like humans.
They had a choice.
Yes, just like humans. Okay, watch this now. The mitochondria is to the cell, and the hydrogen is to the mitochondria what the human is to the government that you know of. In this case, is the United States Corporation. If we were to say that's it, we're not working no more, they can't produce. That's what the mitochondria does. So this is why I'm bringing this up, because she has the ability to shut down every cell. If the mitochondria say that's it, shut this cell down, kill it, then it's not going to survive. She can trigger a cell to shut down. So let me get into the contract. The mitochondria's contract is that this is a feminine place. Everything that comes in here was supposed to be divine. X's. And somebody tampered with that order, and now we have a Y chromosome. This is not a diss to my brothers. I have to make that clear, because you probably get ready to get some cursing in your comment section.
I don't even look at that. I don't even look at that. I'm telling, when I do a podcast, I have a big screen on, and all I see is you. Until I get to the questions and I go pulling it. That's a distraction. People will come in. This is what I want you to understand about this platform and what I do. I could care less about what other people think or say. This is a platform for you to express your point of view, your expertise, your knowledge, your wisdom, because we are all here to help each other in some way, fashion, or form. right? And I really think that, or I know for a fact, many black women, quote unquote black, because you turn black, but you know what I mean. We talk about in a coma. If you want to look at the poster child in the coma, it's the black woman. So when I have these shows, it's to help her awaken by any means necessary, even if it's shock value, because Aquarius will bring the shock value. So, and I'm very big in astrology. So I already know what you bring to the table. So you don't have to, they know what to expect when they tune into the show. Because when you tune in here, it's not, I don't want you to get what you always get everywhere else. This is something different. This is something unique. And this is something to pique your interest so you can study some more, right? Go find out for yourself, even if this is the first time you're hearing this. And I love that. Like, this is because this is the first time I'm hearing some of this stuff myself. And I'm like, how loud? Let me write this down because, I'm trying to make sense out of it from my understanding, right? And it's going to challenge me to go dig deeper into the biology, into mitochondria, understanding what you're saying about what happens when she interacts with the hydrogen cell, and then also how you analyze it, or the analogy, I should say, with what we're doing today with our will, how something engulfs you, takes control of you, and now you become hostage to it until you say enough is enough, right? So getting back to the book, because I do want to stay focused on it, because honey, me and you, we got a little, we all over the place. I like it because I can follow you, you can follow me, wherever we gonna get there. But at the end of the day, I want people, that's listening to be like, okay, where we going with this? So I really want to stick to the book, because a lot of things in what you're saying is related to the book, right? Yes. But I want to get back to this contract, right? Into what happened in this realm being a feminine realm. You can see that in nature, everything is feminine. And you can actually see, this may sound a little controversial, where we are today, things circling back to the feminine, even through the energy of what you've seen with some of the males out here these days. Just saying. They could say it's the government tampering with the water and hormones and things of that nature, but this is like an influx of feminine energy on the planet right now that you can't deny.
Even if they are tampering, that's still by divine order.
Ashe. That's what I say. I agree with that 100%. Even because the energy will use whatever it needs to use to get the job done. All right, to bring things back to its essence, right? Now, hold on. Let's go to chapter 3, because this is a big thing for me. I'd like to know. I've never been a fan of the narrative of, we're the gods, we're the Anunnaki gods and things of that nature. I know some people are, and they feel that they are that. But I have a feeling that that's when the disturbances begun. All right. So that's when the distortion became, or the contract that was entered into kind of threw things off. So I want you to elaborate on this chapter that says the Anunnaki tampered with Mother Nature. Let me read a little bit.
Yes.
According to ancient texts, once buried beneath the dogma and doctrine, this tampering dates back long before the invention of the modern human vessel. I want you to look up the Book of Enki. It details the story how technologically advanced beings known as the Anunnaki came to Earth, and the deeper truth of the Adam and Eve story, a version that predates and unravels what you have been told in the Bible. I'm going to stop there, because this sounds like genetic splicing, genetic manipulation that has been taking place with what was here originally, and now we're something else that may be connected to this contract.
All right. So according to my research, there were other beings on the planet. And when these Anunnaki, in accordance with the Sumerian tablets and Sumerian translations and what have you, when these beings came to the planet, one of them in particular, the one who was good at DNA splicing, as you said, his whole thing was he saw beings on the planet that he felt that he could create a being after the likeness of the Anunnaki. And at one point, they went through all of these different trials and tribulations trying to find a different being so that they created it can be a slave. But the book never goes back to speaking about the fact that he spliced those beings with other beings on the planet. He reared them or fashioned them after other beings that were already on the planet, but then they had to create their own being. All right, I don't want to go deep into that because
Was
then that's
any of these beings on this planet women?
everything on this planet was feminine. That's what I'm ready to get into.
Okay, because when you say beings, you make it could be like, octopus or any kind of thing. I just want to be specific.
Put this on the screen. Let me show you something. So we can go. I can get to the point because I know somebody like, get to the point, Diva. Okay. Put this on the screen. So you see on the left, that's an X chromosome. That's what everything starts from. Everything. I don't care if it's a fish or a dog or a chicken. Everything starts from the X. On the right, you see a Y chromosome. This is a genetically modified parasitic being. Okay, there's all kind of other adjectives in there, but this is not a diss to my brother. But I'm letting you know that originally everything was X. But when the Anunnaki came in and there was this tampering that started going on. So you've heard about Lilith. Huh?
Yes. Yeah, I heard about Lilith. Yes. There's several of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Lilith would be somebody who had this right here. 2 fully optional X chromosomes. Because she would know how to give birth on her own. She would know how to change her size or her shape, her form. She would be at that. That's those X-Men powers that I talk about. All right, she would have access to this. But then what the problem is, you can't control this being. All right.
Right.
So what happens is you got to have this. You got to make one of those dormant.
You got to.
And the only way you do that is by tampering with the mitochondria. Oh, we want one to be stronger. That's the why. But when you tamper with the mitochondria, then she's going to come in here and then determine that, first of all, the contract has been broken. So let me go into this contract so you understand. Go ahead.
What's breached? Broke. Well, how could it be broken if the XX still exists?
Okay. So what happens is first of all, when the mitochondria becomes awakened and when the sperm hits the egg, there's first a check. And her check is going to be, is this other X, because all sperms are female. And that's stated in this book, and we make it clear of why. I'm saying again for the people in the back of the room. All sperm are female. There's no such thing as a male sperm. They all carry X chromosomes, every last one of them. Otherwise, he's infertile.
Hold on. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. That deserves a bond. That was a weak bond. I need something a little bit more piercing than that. There you go. Okay. Oh, so wait a minute now. How can that be? I'm gonna play devil's advocate. No, not even that. I'm gonna ask the question like most people are asking. How can it possibly be? How can sperm cells be originally female? How
Love it. Then let's go into this now. Let me get my correct. So we understand exactly what's going on. Okay. 1 second.
All right, how y'all doing out there? How everybody doing out there in the chat? I'm about to check in right now. Checking with the crew. Y'all doing all right? How you feeling about this information so far? Put a 1 in the chat if you're following along. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand what we're talking about right here, because we're about to dive a little deeper. We're just getting warmed up. We're just getting warmed up. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. No, put a 9 in the chat. How about that? Put a divine 9 in the chat. If you're feeling this information, if you're following along, if this is something that you can get into, if we're tapping on to some energies, if you're getting some kind of DNA activations right now, you're getting awakened with this information. Because the sister right here, listen, she's not a game. She don't play around. I'm about to just let her loose in a minute. She about to go ham on y'all in a second. All right, shout out to Ola Nine. Shout out to Ola. Okay, sister, we're back. We're back. Go ahead and do your thing. Woo! With my team.
Okay, so here's the deal. We haven't been told what a male is versus a female. And we're not understanding who he is or where he came from. So I need to start right here so we can take a look at the anatomy and understand what's really going on. A male, and again, I love my brothers. I always have to make sure I show respect because this information is not easy for anybody to take, especially my brothers, and then especially if they've never heard this before. This is kind of crushing to the ego, and I respect that. I understand that. So we're not trying to be disrespectful in this information that we're giving. I need to make sure we say that first. But a male is an inside-out female. Let's be clear on that. Everything starts with the eggs. All right. So this is why I'm showing this anatomy so that we're clear that, okay, he has ovaries too. They call them testes or testicles. He has a vagina too. That's that penis right there that had to fall. It's really the uterus that is falling outside of his body. That little Darth Vader thing down there, that's clitoris. All right.
Elongated clitoris.
His prostate is a dysfunctional womb.
Can you point it out, sister? Point it out with your pointer.
This prostate, this is a dysfunctional womb.
We can't see.
All right. And so the labia that
what's above the prostate? Like, what is this? Because this looks. I can't point. Can you see my mouth?
Yeah, I don't see your mouse, but this is the stomach here. But yeah, this all of this area here. Again,
so it's like a little walnut thing. There's okay, we see the shaft of the penis, and right above the penis, what is that? That's his prostate.
Are you talking about
the small circle before the big circle, right? The darker circle above the penis.
Here. Yeah, that's the prostate.
Yeah, your mouse is not showing, so I can't see.
Oh, my mouse is not showing. Okay, no. That's the prostate. And
okay, and above the prostate is what?
The stomach. So okay, all of this here is, again, what you're seeing in a woman is the same with him. These items had to drop outside of his vessel to keep him from becoming infertile. Because, so let me just explain this so that we're understanding what we're looking at. He is a she.
Inside
with his insides that have had to drop out of him so that he stays fertile. Okay, so I just want to make sure we're there because he is an inside out she. All of this stuff where it's, you know, where he
Sister Rev. Now I understand what you're saying, Sister Rev, when you be saying that. I love the illustration because you can clearly see the inversion.
Okay. So now that we're understanding who and what he is, because we have this thought that, oh, he's got a penis. She don't have no penis. This is just her inside out. All right. So if he got a long penis, well, thank you, mama, because everything comes from her. There's nothing he has that she doesn't have because everything he has came from her. Everything he has, everything.
I say. Even the memory glands, everything.
Everything.
Yes, yes, ma'am. That is, I agree.
So now, watch this now. Inside of here, she has ovums inside of here. He's got ovums too.
I wish your mouse was working, your pointer's working. Are you pointing to the screen?
See,
no, you have to, you were showing it before. When you go into the whatever that is channel that you're using to show the screen, you use your mouse from that screen.
Okay. Let me see if I can do that.
It's not showing, but it's okay because we can't see what you're pointing out.
Oh, okay. I'm over here pointing, thinking everybody can see. Okay, good. I'll just say it, make it clear. If you take a look at the ovaries, you'll see inside of the ovaries there are ovums, and we're going to look at that in a second. And he has the same thing in his testes or his testicles. He has ovums inside of there, and they are all female, all of them. Otherwise, he's going to. They're all female.
That ain't
okay.
That's cool.
I know they're not gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna tell, half of them are girls and half of them. No, they all girls.
So they'll say that because the way the story go, he determines the sex.
That's a lie, and we're going to go into that too. That's why I'm here. That's why there's the book, because you need to understand that you have been lied to about your powers in this dimension and how you truly control the beings that are walking on the face of this planet. And if when you know who you are, you can make beings disappear.
Oh,
and you don't have to pull not one weapon. You don't have to shoot not one gun. You don't have to stab not one person and hit not nobody.
Wow.
When you know who you are. You follow what I'm saying? This is why when this information is kept from you, you stay in a victim state or an ignorant state, and then you want to add, well, we're subjugated as women. But as soon as you gain knowledge, you understand you are the one with all the power. Okay? So we're getting this now. All those are females in his ovaries as they are in hers. Everything starts from the feminine. He was feminine. And that Y chromosome is a genetically modified, unnatural, parasitic, recessive chromosome. That is not what Diva Lyri said. That's what science says. Like I said, I only come here with facts. I don't come here with my opinions because my opinions don't matter.
Now, why do you say it's those things?
What?
Why do you say it's parasitic? Why do you say that?
Okay, what does a parasitic being do? A parasitic being, the nature of a parasitic being is to make the host feel as though the host cannot live without the parasite. And I get it. I know y'all like your little ding-a-ling. I get it. Respect. But I need you to understand and step back and understand the fact that the woman has been conquered. She was conquered because originally this planet was a feminine planet. It was a matriarchal order. And once she was conquered, she lost knowledge of self. Because whenever a people conquer another people, they're going to rewrite their history. So I'm trying to help to re-educate you and reintegrate you with your history. Okay? Indeed. So we understanding all these ovums inside of his testes, those are females. Let's go into it. I'm gonna make it clear before we get out of here today exactly how you know they're female. So it's not that you made that up. She made that up.
No, honey. I seriously doubt that.
What's that?
That's that you making any of this up. This is
all right. Shit, so take a look at this. This is what's known as meiosis. This is not a natural process, okay? This is where the mitochondria and has inside of his scrotum and inside of her ovaries, they have formed what are known as parent cells. And those parent cells have 92 chromosomes, and they call them chromatids. And I'm going in the scientific. See, here's the thing. I like to break it down from a scientific standpoint so that you understand that this is not some just spooky stuff. No, we can point back to where it comes from. All right. So in meiosis, this is where, again, there's this parent cells. They call them also known as stem cells. They're not only in your ovaries, but some of them end up inside of your bone marrow. All right, in your ribs. So when you're talking about that rib story, that's where that came from. All right, and if you want me to explain that, I will go back through that with the Anunnaki.
Let's stay here.
Okay. So now these parent cells, notice that says parent cells. That's really it's called the mother cell. And no, I'm saying the mother. They want to call it a parent because they don't want to let on to the fact that those are girls, those are women, those are females.
Oh.
But watch this now, and you can go and look this up yourself. In meiosis, it's called spermatogenesis in the male. It's called oogenesis in the female. Watch this now. Watch the terms. I didn't make these terms up. Inside of the male and the female, when a male or a woman is excited, or whether she's, she's getting excited sexually, okay? She's stimulated. These parent cells are going to break down into two sister cells, right? See that? Sister. In the male and the female, it's called sister cell. Don't say brother cells.
No, it doesn't.
Uncle cells. They say sister cells.
So it goes from the mother cells, and she splits into two sisters.
The only thing she can split into is two women, females. That's all she can do is go to two females. That's because that's the order on this planet.
Yo.
That's the contract that the mitochondria agreed to, that everything was feminine. So she goes from a mother cell to two sister cells, and then she divides those two sister cells into 4 daughter cells. When you look this up, that don't say son cells or nephew cells. It say daughter. It doesn't matter whether it's the male or the female. Those are feminine beings. All of them.
This is the process of meiosis.
Meiosis, and this is an unnatural process because this is the mitochondria coming out of her coma. She's breaking down, or the cell is breaking down.
Wow, this is phenomenal. Hold on, let's pause for a second. Out of the words, the famous words from my brother, Bobby Hemmett. Y'all all right? Y'all in the chat. Y'all all right? Put a 9 in the chat. Put a 9 in the chat. Put a 9 in the chat if you are following along with this information. If you even heard of this information before or broken down in this manner. Broken down in this 999. I know that. Triple nines. All the way 9. 9 is divine. The divine feminine. Ashe. Sister. This right here is split my wig back. Because I never known like this. I mean, we've heard this, but when you break it down and actually see it, like this is what it is, how it begins, the 92 chromosomes, the parent cell, aka the mother cell. Now, meiosis is the splitting of cells, isn't that correct? What does define meiosis?
Okay, so meiosis, there's meiosis and then mitosis.
Mitosis, right.
Meiosis is where we start with a parent cell, and again, it has those 92 chromosomes in it, and then they break down eventually into 4 daughter cells, okay? Now, mitosis is where there's a multiplication. So meiosis is the division, and then mitosis is the multiplication, where if there's this one cell, it's going to multiply, and then it's going to split into 2 different cells. That's mitosis, which is what every cell in your body does. Does that explain it?
Girl, you know how to look it up.
Oh, I'm waiting. Go ahead.
I looked it up. No, I'm saying, I mean, because when I asked it meant the division of cells, splitting of cells, and that's pretty much, yeah. Meiosis is a specialized type of cell division that reduces the number of chromosomes by half, creating 4 genetically distinct cells with a haploid number of chromosomes.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's this division of cells. All right. Why the cells divide? Like, what is it? What is this processing? What happens when this process takes place? What causes meiosis?
What causes it is when a cell or a woman gets stimulated. So, and I speak about that in the book. Okay, in the book I speak about how she gets stimulated and how these eggs are drawn out of the ovum. I need this to be made clear. These eggs that are going into your ovaries, these are your twins. This is what we're not told. These are like your twins. And in order for them to be drawn out of the ovaries, there's an LH hormone that has to be secreted from your pituitary gland. Once that's secreted into your blood, they get to fighting, and then one gets kicked out. And then once it gets kicked out, it goes into this meiosis process whereby it breaks down. Okay? Did that answer your question?
No. So kind of, but hold on, because you said this happens when a woman gets excited. Now, there's two type of excitements, in my opinion. There's one where she's how can I say, she's erogenous, like she's starting to get what's the word? Not when she orgasms. Now, there's the thing is getting to climaxes. Before she climaxes, is this happening when she climaxes or when she's aroused? I think that's the word I'm trying to find.
Okay, so
sexually aroused.
Yeah, when she's sexually aroused, what happens is LH hormone, like I said, is secreted into the bloodstream, and then this is when the ovums and the ovaries within the ovums within the ovaries rather, they start to fight for that hormone. There becomes a fight for this hormone, and whoever gets the most of it has to leave. It gets kicked out. One of the eggs inside of the ovum gets kicked out. That's when, why you start getting those cramps or whatever. Because one of them is getting kicked out of the ovaries. So
to start the process of birth?
To start this process of meiosis, and this is how birth starts.
Okay, got you. Now we're getting there. All right.
This is why she starts having.
I'm on a short bus. Forgive me.
No.
I catch up.
This is a great question. This is why she starts having periods, because, and there are two things that causes this LH hormone: sugar and sexual stimulation. And so the problem is, every time you're losing these from your ovaries, then you're further removing yourself from tapping in the source, because these beings, they talk. They communicate. As much as people want to call them dead, they're not. So we got to these are little things that we don't know. And we just think, well, it's okay to have a little bit of sugar. Sugar is a drug.
Wow. All sugar?
I'm sorry, thank you. Table sugar. Your disaccharides.
White sugar.
We're not talking about your natural sugar. When you talk about oranges and fruits and things like that, that's different.
Right.
We're talking about your table sugar. That's a drug. Cane sugar. Drug.
Got you.
Okay.
All right.
So does that make sense?
What about plant sweeteners from plants, like agave?
So here's a problem. Using a heat, and this is one of the things. What was his? I think it was Dr. Africa who talked about this. When you start using a process to heat something, you change the chemical process of it. It might have been natural at first, but when you heat it up, that's a drug.
Gotcha.
And that's what happens with with the table sugar. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it does.
Okay. So did you find out what meiosis was?
Yeah, I had read it out, and I finally made the understanding, but I was trying to figure out what activates this process. And you were saying arousal as well as, I guess, ovulation in a way, from when you said it get kicked out. Is this when we're talking about ovulation?
Sex.
Okay.
Sex.
Well, when you say kicked out, I'm thinking that it's the egg is about to travel into the womb and begin the process of either the period begins or it's waiting for fertilization.
Let's look at it with teenagers.
I got you.
Even with teenagers, they don't, you don't necessarily get pregnant on the first time you having sex. But once you have stimulated those ovums to come outside of the ovaries, now you set up, to have a situation where you can get pregnant, because when the egg leaves the ovum, now we can start breaking down into those daughter cells. Once it gets to those daughter cells, that's when you have the situation set up where you can become pregnant by a sperm. Okay, so all of that has to happen, but it happened. The beginning of getting that started is getting her stimulated. That's why from the beginning of your life. They showing you sugary products and your cereals and Cocoa Puffs and Tony the Tiger, okay? And then they're showing you things like, what is her name? Give me some of them nursery rhymes, those nursery stories, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears and the
with the honey and all of that kind of stuff.
Snow White and the Seven. Okay, all of that is dealing with a man and you being happy with a dude. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that they're trying to impress upon you. You know, sex is being pushed upon you. Sugar is being pushed upon you from an early age. So we can get this process started right here.
Wow.
Meiosis. Okay, so let me, I want to go into this. Now, we're understanding that these things break down into all daughter cells. Now, I want to talk about this because I want to make sure we can understand the difference. Now, going back to this image right here, when the mitochondria first awakens inside of that egg, her first check is going to be this. Okay, can you see my mouse now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So her first check is going to be, is that sperm coming in, does it have the same number of genes and the same number of chromosomes, or let me rephrase that, same number of chromosomes and same number of genes in each chromosome. There's a certain number, and forgive me, I don't want to go over anybody's head, but there's a check that the mitochondria or Mother Nature does, all right? She wants to know, does the sperm coming in here have the same number of chromosomes and same number of genes in each chromosomes? And that means that all of those things better be X's because it's got to match with what's in the egg. Otherwise, the mitochondria is going to terminate it before it even gets started. This is why women have miscarriages, especially your O positive women, your O women or O negative women. They are prone to have miscarriages because when you're sleeping or mating with an A person, or A or B or AB, the mitochondria is checking the DNA. And when she checks it and she says, okay, well, these don't have the same number of chromosomes and they don't have the same number of genes in each chromosomes, she's going to terminate it before you even get to 3 months. You're not even going to get to 1 month. Because
so how do the ones get by that don't make all the checks? Like, how does this, because it's quite evident that they're here. You know, like the men are here. So how did they slip through the cracks?
Okay, so hold on, because I'm gonna tell you this. You went past the thing. This is why,
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is why you have doctors, right? That they'll say, "Oh, well, you might have a miscarriage. Come in so we can give you a shot." That's called what? Tampering. Because the mitochondria is speaking, but the doctor is going to make it seem like the woman has the problem. When it's not her, it's the man that she's trying to mate with. The mitochondria is saying, no, this is not a match. I do not ordain this. But the doctors tamper with the pregnancy by giving you a shot to make her believe, no, this is good. It's okay. Now, understand this. Once this comes in, okay, the mitochondria goes on and reproduces, and now you get a yolk sac. You've heard of the yolk sac, right? Yeah. Because while this being is being created, you got to understand that's why you got to wait 3-4 months before you know if it's if the doctor tell you if it's a girl or boy. Why? Because that yolk sac has to empty back into that vessel, and until that happens, it's a girl. Let's be clear about that.
Right. It is. You're right. You're right. You're right.
It's all X's. So now we talking about the mitochondria in this contract. First of all, she's already established, okay, I'm going to let this thing go. I'm going to start producing it because it has the same number of genes and same number of chromosomes. But when that yolk sac empties back into the vessel in that 3rd or 4th month, that's when hell breaks loose, because she recognizes I've been tricked and I've been tampered with. What does she recognize? These two are supposed to be the same, because you are supposed to be producing the same way every cell in your vessel produces, the same way every original being produces, the same way the mitochondria produces. That's by either fission or parthenogenesis or mitosis. That's how you're supposed to be producing.
Do you think that's why the doctors give women who are pregnant like these prenatal vitamins?
Possibly, I
That's
don't even
something to
know
do
what's
with
in
it.
them. I don't
That's
know
what I'm
what's in them.
saying. Like it's like all of a sudden you got to take these vitamins. They call them prenatal vitamins in the beginning of your pregnancy.
Possibly, but watch
Also,
this.
I wonder if that
Watch
has
this.
anything to do with
I don't know.
altercation of things.
I'm not sure, but I can tell you this. Watch this.
I'm
Because
not.
when those cells empty back from that yolk sac into that embryo, she's doing another check. And now she's checking on these two DNA strands. Now she's checking to see, are these the same identical DNA strands? And if they're not, that means somebody has breached the contract.
Mm,
You follow me?
right.
Now she's doing a second check. This is why it's in the book, because I got to explain how she operates and why this Y chromosome comes about. Because there's tampering, and this is when, in that 4th month, she's going to determine what being is this that is riding. Because she can't terminate it. Because again, as is above, so is below. She recognizes the law, so she don't want to kill it. But I'm surely getting ready to. All right. So this was supposed to be 2 identical strands, meaning they come from the same being. And the fact that they're not, this tells me that this is a being that doesn't have knowledge of self. So who's in here, and should I rip away its contract and divinity, or should I make it dormant? So then this is what you get. If she decides that she's not going to rip away its divinity, she's going to put it to sleep. So half of your X genes are asleep. Meanwhile, he's got 100 genes over here. Let me show you this. He's got 100 genes over here that are still awake. This is what a okay, you see this? This is a Y chromosome here. And your X chromosome has 1,400 genes in it. This Y chromosome has 1,300 genes missing.
Woo. Missing, absent.
Hold on.
Never even been there.
They were there. They were taken away.
It looked like it was decapitated, dissected. That's a Y.
This is a Y right here.
It
This
didn't
is
even
a Y
look like a full Y.
next to an X chromosome.
It looked like a what happened?
But my point is this, that we understand what the Y chromosome is. And again, this is not, this is just to show you, without being disrespectful to our brothers, the difference and what the facts are, okay? So we understanding this, right? Now that she's done her second check, and on her second check, she's recognized that somebody has breached the contract. Instead of killing or terminating the embryo, though, she's going to decide whether or not she's going to make these dormant or totally take it away in the male. He still has access to this 100. Meanwhile, you got 1,400 genes over here that you're not even tapping into because you have no knowledge of self. And let's be honest, the mitochondria had to turn those off, because if you don't know who you are, you will destroy yourself if you don't recognize how to use your own powers. Ask me a question. I'm ready. I see it coming.
Holy smoke!
I see a question coming.
Oh no, I'm thinking about the 1,300 chromosomes that are missing, and then the ones that. And so how many do we have? The XX in total. How many are there? 1,400 genes that are in total in the XX chromosomes. Was that 2,800 genes?
Let me show you this.
Because this will lead to my next question.
Okay. So let me show you how it works. Thank you for this question. We're going. We're going deep on this molecular side, and I feel that it's important to go deep on the molecular side so that this is now demystified. Okay, it's not a mystery. It's all inside of you that we should have been taught. So this is right here a gene. All right, you see the chromosome on the right here. This large set of genes that are wrapped up. This is the DNA strand. All right, and the gene has different sections, make up different sections of the chromosome. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Okay, now watch this. Because we have 23 chromosomes,
It makes me want, do we have more than that?
okay? So there's 23 chromosomes in the egg, and then there's 23 chromosomes in the sperm, and they're all female, okay? Now watch this. When they come together, they're both female. Now, hold on for a second. This thing is trying to make it seem like it's a Y. Let me go to the correct one. Been told this. So what happens is all of these are X's in the embryo when it first starts. All of them are X's. And then after she does her second check, that's when it's determined whether or not this is going to be a Y or a dormant X. And it's just this one. Everything else in him stays an X. But this little one right here stays a Y. Or it's turned into a Y. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just the final chromosome. The term.
Yeah, this is considered to be the sex chromosome. He's got a sex chromosome here, and inside the egg, there's a sex chromosome here. And the only one that gets changed, is the sex chromosome coming from the male, not from the woman. So what happens
causes that change?
Say it again.
What do you think causes that change? What determines?
Okay, good. The spirit.
It's going to be a male.
The spirit. The mitochondria knows. Again, she's doing a check inside of that vessel as it's producing, and she's like, wait a minute, who's this spirit coming in here? Because she's going to know, now getting to the spiritual side, she's going to know, is this a being that fought against the mother in the past? Remember, a child is an old spirit coming back in a new vessel. I need to say it again. A child is an old spirit coming back in a new vessel. The mitochondria knows who's who. And we're talking about spirit. Remember those hydrogens? You remember those hydrogens? Right. Way back? Those are spirits. Nobody want to see it. Those are spiritual entities. Everything is alive. Wow. People want to act like, oh, you know, this not alive because it's not moving. Everything is alive.
Everything vibrates. Everything has.
So that spirit, that spirit that is coming in that vessel. See, here's the other thing. Watch this. The mitochondria also senses the state of the mother as well. So, and I've always talked about this, and a lot of women want to give pushback. But again, I say, do your research. When we're talking about a male, a woman giving birth to a male is a woman who was under duress at the time of her pregnancy. I'm going to say this again. A woman giving birth to a male is a woman who was under duress at the time of her pregnancy. And this is again one of the things that we have not been taught, because
stressed out.
A woman who's in her right state, spiritually, emotionally, physically, she's balanced, she's going to give birth to a female. This doesn't mean, and pay attention, people in the back of the room, this doesn't mean that she can't give birth to a female while under duress, but if she gives birth to a male, it is a clear sign that she was under duress.
What do you say to women that have nothing but sons? They have like 4 or 5 sons.
I know. I'm telling you, I know what happens. See, when you, what does it say? The fruit that the tree bears will tell you what the tree is. Your children are your fruit. And because I know science, because I know universal law, because I know the law of the vessel, I know. And so I start talking about people's Akashic records then. I can tell what was going on with you at the time of your pregnancy with that child. And if she's telling me she's got 3, 4 sons, then you're telling me about a woman who's under duress.
Stay under it. Seem like, if that's the case, she stays under duress. Maybe it's normal for her. Maybe she thinks this is the normal way to be. Maybe
is a Y chromosome normal? Is it natural?
I mean, from the way you breaking this shit down, hell no! Look at that on the screen. Something to look like is wrong with it. That X don't look too right. I mean, that Y don't look too right. It look like a what happened.
But this is an X. This is all X.
No, I mean that Y. When you show the Y on next to the X, it seems.
Oh, you're talking about this one here.
It looks like a problem. Like, it looks like which one of these things don't belong here? That's kind of what it looks like. That this is really phenomenal. Look, and it's not like you said. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when you look at it from a molecular level, a cellular level, a scientific level, it explains the behavior. It explains what's going on. It explains it, right? It shows the what we're going through in the world today, the hijacking, the manipulation, the integration or the force, the gaslighting, everything that we're going through. I guess it happened first on a cellular level. These checks and balances that are happening with the mitochondrial, she gets tricked herself in the midst of the check. And then by the time she figures it out, it's too late. Like, it's, this is a lot to ingest here. This is a lot to digest. This is a lot to process.
I appreciate you saying that. I really do, because I still, again, in this information, it's taken me time to really learn how to give this information so that people can truly understand it and grasp it and then implement it in their life. But I want to go back and look at this so that we can understand why we know that all sperm cells are female. When that sperm hits that egg, then it goes immediately into mitosis. Look that one up. Mitosis. All right. Mitosis is where it now starts to multiply. So this cell right here, okay, this where the egg and the sperm have joined. Right now, it's going to multiply identically everything that's in this cell. So by the time we get to 12 hours, 24 hours, we have gotten at least 16 cells that have started, right? That have multiplied from mitosis. So if this was a male, then I don't have to wait no 4 months. You understand? I don't have to wait 4 months, because after that, I can start looking at that first cell after 24 hours, and I should be able to look at one of those cells, and I should be able to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm looking in my microscope, this is a male. But that doesn't happen because it's a girl. From the beginning, it's always a girl. If it was a male from the beginning, then you wouldn't have to wait. All right. And so once the yolk sac empties back in, the mitochondria, now she's going to rip his genes. She's going to rip this sex chromosome of the male. She's going to take 1,300 genes. This is why his ovaries have to drop out of his body. Because she would turn them things into males too. And if they become males, then he's infertile. Is this making more sense now? Tell me if it's not now.
No, listen. You don't know what's running around inside this head.
I want to get
now.
to me.
Listen, I'm thinking about the 3 months because they're always talking about the first trimester, right? They always put all this emphasis on the first trimester. And it's like, yeah, you needed them 3 months to stress her the fuck out so she could bring forth some more of whatever we got going on running around here. And since she has a lot of males through the rest. I don't even, can we say all? I don't know. I don't have sons, I have a daughter, so I don't
Okay,
know.
let me say it for you because I know people are afraid to make. I'm gonna say it for you. All males come from chaos. All
And they
males.
say we the chaos, though. Hold on now.
I
That
do.
never made sense to me.
All males come from a woman who's under duress, under chaos. She's in chaos.
So she's in chaos. So why do
She
they say that the women are chaos and the men are order? Let them
listen.
tell it. Let them tell it.
That's a patriarchal idea.
I
Now,
say,
I will say this.
you know what? Hold on. Let me say this about you, sister. I really appreciate you. I know when I'm in the midst of a sybil. I know a sybil when I see. I'm telling you, and not everyone is a sybil. I mean, not to be discriminatory or anything like that, but I know a true divine sybil when I see one because you bring forth the information. You tell the story the way it should be told, and not mimic or continue to push a narrative that's a lie. And you're not afraid. You don't walk in fear, right? You're unapologetic with your shit. And I love that. No, I'm serious. And I just wanted to take this moment to say, I truly appreciate you, the knowledge and the wisdom that you bring. You are phenomenal. You're a scientist. You're brilliant. And the way you are breaking this down for us to understand, you're changing many lives right now. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Continue
you.
on. I just wanted to say that because
Thank you. I appreciate all the love. I feel the
I'm,
same way about you. All right.
I,
So
I
thank you for allowing me to
thank
be here. You know, we
oh
done talked.
yeah,
We
for
building.
sure.
So I'm
Anytime you welcome. If you need a key, I'm just going ahead and give you one of the keys to the house. So you
let's
come
go.
on anytime you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm honored. So, but I want to say this concerning women. Women, to be honest with you, again, she is not in her right mind and her right energy because she doesn't know who she is. She is in a coma the same way the mitochondria was in a coma. All right. She has signed off on contracts and agreements with the male, with the government, with everybody else, and has given away her power. Okay. So we got to know these things on a molecular level because as is within, so is without. Okay, you start cleaning up what's going on within you, then everything on the outside of you is going to clean up as well, and everything that you need is going to show up for you. So when we're talking about the woman and her mindset, she's not in her right mind right now.
At all. You're right.
Not-
She's under a spell. I say.
yes,
With
under
all
a
of
spell,
the- yeah, she's under.
demonetized, as you was.
Right on. She is. She's been dickmatized. She is under the. That's a whole nother story. But it's a part of this story, though.
It's part of this. It's still part
It,
of this as
it's
well.
yeah. There's another
Okay.
part of the book I want to. Was there something, another point that you wanted to make?
No, I just wanted to make sure we're clear on this and understanding that if it was a male sperm, you wouldn't have to wait 4 months. If it were
Mm.
a male sperm, then the mitochondria is not going to accept it. She's going to terminate it.
Mm.
Okay.
Or try to, because it's like
Yeah.
the mission
And
ain't been all the way accomplished. I have.
and well, she wouldn't let it start if it came in as a male sperm. She's not going to let it start. It's not going to reach to the 3rd month. It's not going to reach to the. It's not going to start because it's here. Let me show it again. Hold on. They don't match. That is one of her checks. They don't match.
It
She's
was
not.
the dog.
She's
Look
not
at
going
that
to
shit.
let you with this when she's looking for this. It's not going to happen. So the other thing is everything comes from going back to this image here. Everything comes from a female, a mother cell, and breaks down to sister cells, breaks down to daughter cells. That they all females. They all feminine. That's how we know. Those are 3 ways I just told you.
It's been in our face the whole time. The
Yes.
whole time. I mean, they wrote it there for you to see it. They wrote it. It's right there. Wow.
Yeah. And so
Unbelievable.
because it's hitting and people don't really go deeper into it, they go, oh, what sister said? They don't even think anything about it. Well, why would you call
At
it
all, daughter cell. Like, come on, like
why
really?
would you call it that inside of a male? Well, because that's what it is. A female. Okay.
That's deep. Heavy. I say, honey, you or me, regardless how much you want to run away from it. And you
Yes.
I'm gonna be nice. I'm going to be nice today. Real close. No,
yeah.
because you know what? For ages, we have been in this battle, right? And there's some women who's been swinging their sword to defend themselves and who they are because they're born knowing, right? And we're called crazy. We're called something wrong with you. What's the word they like to use? Feminist and all of these other things that they like to say. But in fact, we know, we remember. And when we unpack and unveil that you us too, and what you're seeing when you're talking about men who are feminine or effeminate men and things that you write all in your sacred texts that are taboo and wrong, what you secretly do in the back anyway, but that's another story. It's still her emerging from him, regardless.
Yes.
Mm. I
Yes.
love it. I love it. This is fascinating. This is amazing. I get this, what you're saying. I see it, meiosis, mitosis, the division of the cell, starting out with the mother cell. They had to
Yes.
put parent to make it seem like, I get it. Sister cell, daughter cell, fantastic. The illustration shows it, especially the other illustration of showing the anatomy, the reproductive system of the male and female. You can see it's inverted. You can see it's just dropped down the ovaries or the testes of the ovaries drop down. That you can see, it's the same anatomy. It's the same thing.
Same thing. So I want to get one point out,
Go ahead.
especially on this session, and I thank you once again for having me here. But there have been some things that I heard, and actually I had to address this last week, and it kind of got to me a little bit. But you hear people say that I came from my daddy's balls, and the egg is dead. And my goal is to make sure I arm women with the truth and the facts so that when somebody says to them with that ignorance, they know full well that that is not the case.
Load us up with the clip, honey. Give us the full clip. Load us up.
Yeah. So remember, these are sleeping within the female because of the simple fact that this mitochondria, inside of here, have been put into a coma. She's not dead at all by any means. All right. And let me, as a matter of fact, let me just show another image because the visuals I think help a little bit better.
They help a great deal.
You see those 3 polar bodies, right? You see these 3 polar bodies. Let me show you what they look like.
Oh yeah. Yes. I see the 3 polar bodies at the bottom.
Okay, let me show you what they look like on a cell. There they are, right there, snoozing. She's got every bit of DNA inside of each one of these cells that this sperm cell has inside of it. That sperm cell right there, this is the polar body.
That little thing right there.
This right here is the sperm. These bacteria devour the polar bodies within him. All right, or they call them, they devoured the polar bodies or the sister cells within him. And so these are just bacteria. But she got every bit of DNA inside of here sitting right next to her. But it is in a coma because she is in a coma. And this right here, this is an unnatural thing. See, I go into this. I won't hit you with it unless you want to hear it.
Hit me. Come on, James Brown, let's go. What you talking about? You should.
So I'm making this clear that, when we're talking about the polar bodies and, what the powers are that she has, she got everything she needs right here. Everything. This whole thing, this is not, again, a diss to my brother. I need to make it clear the powers that the woman has. All of these, I talk about X-Men powers. And why did they call it X-Men?
Yes.
Why? When X represents the feminine. Because remember, they got to tell you who you are. They got to tell you what they're taking from you.
Oh.
So they was saying, whoa, man powers. And you didn't get it. Well, I'm here to help you understand. X-Man, whoa, man.
Yeah.
And let's understand where all of those powers reside. Let me show you again, so that we clear on it. This is where all of those powers reside. Make sure I go the right way. When these turn back on, because right now they're dormant, and you have the ability to tap into them, but you can't tap into something that's natural when you keep leaning on something that is unnatural. You cannot tap into something that is natural when you keep leaning on something that is unnatural. This is where your X-Men powers are.
Oh, my stars. Let's talk about these powers.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. No, but before we do that, there's something that I read in your book. I did a little promo for that in chapter 9. First time I opened up the book, it jumped right to chapter 9. Believe it or not. It was like, what the heck? And then when I read this, I said, oh, this is where it all begins for me. Chapter 9 says, were you done before, because I got to.
No, yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
Forgive me. Chapter 9. You were inside of your mother when your grandmother was pregnant. Let's take a moment to truly understand how deeply connected you are to your lineage, not just spiritually, but biologically. Picture this. Your mother still forming inside your grandmother's womb. Granddaddy's sperm has just entered into the egg, the miraculous beginning of life. The fertilized cell begins to divide. This is the meiosis, right? With the daughters and the sisters and all that. Just after just one day and 12 hours, it multiplies into 4 cells. Here's where it gets powerful. As the embryo and the yolk sac begin to form, one of those forming cells inside of the yolk sac is you, while the forming embryo is your mother. Yo, while your grandmother is pregnant and going through the process with your mother, you being formed as well. God, yeah, let's go. Let's go. That's a superpower right there. Let's go. Dig that. Like, where's the chat? Let me look at the chat. Now I'm gonna look at the chat. Do y'all understand that? Did you hear? Do you need me to read that again? Put a 9 in the chat if you really can conceive that. Can you see that with your inner eye? Can you activate that? Because this right here, this is a mitochondrial activation right here. This is a straight mitochondrial activation that when your grandmother, visualize your grandmother, pregnant with your mother, your ass was being formed too. And all the things that your grandmother was experiencing, not only is it being translated through the energy of your mother as she's being shaped and formed, it's spilling on you too. Now just imagine if the grandmother was activated, awakened. Now, this is for the sisters coming up. When you out here finagling around and doing things and you getting yourselves into situations, you want to think that you are carrying your grandchild too. You're carrying generations with you. With you, as the sister said, nations, universes. If that isn't the epitome of having a supernatural power, I have no idea what is. Go ahead, sister. Continue on.
I am so happy that that jumped out at you. I
What?
totally appreciate this conversation. I appreciate you reading the book, because yeah, that's it. You were inside of your mother's womb when she was being formed.
Hmm.
All right. So let's take a look at it. When I
Continue
had,
on. You just continue. I'll be right back. Continue.
okay. So we have this image up here where we've got the ovum and we've got the sperm going into the ovum. This environment here is your grandmother. This ovum here is representative of your mother. This would be your granddaddy's sperm. Now, what happens is once this sperm hits the ovum and penetrates, all right, then there's the cell starts to divide. So let's take a look at this real quick so we can understand. The sperm penetrates the oocyte, and then this begins to multiply into many different cells within due to this cell, because all this happens is mitosis is starting to happen once the sperm penetrates the oocyte. All right. So once that happens, then let's take a look at this image here. All right. So the cells begin to multiply and then they split. Half of the cells form the embryo, the other half go into what we call a yolk sac. Now, I've said this before, I do not know the technology of this yolk sac, but I know that once these cells enter into this yolk sac, the mitochondria within those cells become dormant, or she goes into a coma. Meanwhile, the rest of the body continues to form and the rest of the cells continue to do what they do naturally, and that is to divide via mitosis. Okay. And so once these cells are inside of here, what you got to understand is this is your mother, for example, being born. This is your mother. These cells here, these are your mother's nation. And you are one of these cells going inside of this yolk sac. So you are there with your mother when she's inside of your grandmother. All right. So that in understanding that now you're inside of your mother while she's forming herself, well, now you can understand why they tell you the generational curses. These are your twins. You give birth to your twins. So let me say this again, going back to this so we make it clear. Right here, you have the oocyte. And once this thing starts multiplying, half of this thing, it splits. And once it splits, half of it becomes what we call a yolk sac. The other half becomes the embryo that continues to form. And then after 3 to 4 months, this embryo empties back into, this yolk sac empties back into the embryo. Let me see if I can pull this, if I have it, so that we can take a look at, I do have it, let me see. I want us to take a look at what the visual is of that, how that yolk sac empties back in. All right. So in the meantime, oh, there it is. Okay. I did want to show this. I'll show that later. I'm gonna pull this up. I'll pull this up so I can have it. So when give me 1 second. All right. So, but just getting into this, what happens is when that yolk sac empties back into the vessel, then all of those cells that were inside of this yolk sac, they go into the ovaries, or what they call a gonadal bridge. And determining, now the mitochondria comes in and she determines whether or not she's going to either make the eggs dormant or whether she's going to remove genes from it. All right, I hope that's clear. 1 second. Mama T is on her way back in, and then I want to pull up, if I can, the embryo, if I can find it. It's actually in the book, I think. I'm pretty sure it's in the book. But this is why I encourage you, please get the book, all right, so that you can really go into depth on what is going on inside of your vessel and understanding the difference between the male and the female and how you are making contracts and not knowing it. All right. Mama T, you back? I want to find my cell as it enters back into, because that's going to be a really good illustration. As a matter of fact, yeah, it's in the book. Mama T. Mama T is not back. Okay, watch this. I'll pull the book. Once again, you can find this at unauniversity.com, and you can get this book on unauniversity.com. And I'm going to pull actually the book, and let's take a look at this image that I'm, for whatever reason, not finding. All right, so we want to take a look at how the cells